welcome back to the Citizen channel. We're all staying safe and well, and yeah, something called Back Home. We're going to have a look at how our boys have done, and certainly how they've done in the World Cup, and how they're going to do back home now they've been knocked out of the World Cup, or for whatever reason leaving the World Cup. So yes, this is a little special feature. So I'm going to take a look at our Sky Blues World Cups and see how they did, and in what condition they'll return to the Etihad, and what's ahead for them at City, which is, let's face it, going to be some big months ahead at the Etihad, or when they come back after the World Cup. So, yep, we'll just touch upon a couple of players, City players who are already out, and we'll touch upon a couple of other players as well that used to wear City colours. And were we right to get rid of them, or were they right to leave, whichever it is? So, join me for this, please. If you are new to the channel, press that subscribe or press the bell notifications. Everything City, past, present, forever, of course. Great to have you on board. Spread the word, and if you've got a little moment, just press that little like button there, that little like in the corner. That'll be great, and a thumbs up, make a chilly City fan very, very happy. Right, let's have a look at this first batch. This is obviously part one. I don't know how many parts they're going to be. It's sort of manageable levels. I mean, if England get beat the evening I'm recording this, we'll have a big one in one go, won't we? But yeah, we'll have a look at the first batch in part one that are returning home. And we'll start with the first player on the plane. What a surprise that was. City's most influential player, arguably, certainly in midfield, KDB, playing for the team ranked number 2 in the world. It came with a bit of a shock, didn't it? I think, well, it was, but obviously when you look at the goings-on behind the scenes, the problem with Belgium, and therefore their playmaker KDB and our playmaker was mainly off the pitch, I think. Obviously we saw problems on the pitch. Well, they've got a manager who appears to be unable to get the best out of his team, and that was key to Belgium's demise, I think. On and off the pitch, there appears to be little cliques, between the players, with seemingly some players not even talking to each other. So not very good, is it? Let's be fair. And it comes as no surprise that they fell at the group stage with all this in the background. Although after criticism back home and in the media, they at least upped the game a little bit for the decider against Croatia. Of course, it ended 0-0. But if they'd shown any sort of fight that they did in this game, in their previous 2 games, they certainly wouldn't have been on that flight home, and it would have been delayed a little bit, even for a few days. KDB, yeah, looking at him specifically, he did look a little bit lethargic in game 1 and 2, that's for sure. Didn't look as though he was that interested, in all fairness. I think he won the man of the match for the first game, didn't he? But I think, as he said, was that because of his name? Because I think he knows himself he wasn't quite at it. But of course, he was more back to his best in game 3, as were Belgium. And the other big problem which came about in game 3 was they just don't have the quality up front to feed off KDB and people like Hazard as well, who I quite liked. I thought Hazard performed very, very well, although he did get dropped to the bench for the 3rd game. But yeah, they just don't have them 2 big guys up front. Just aren't good enough. Simple as that, And that sort of was another part of Belgium's demise when it came down to the crunch. I think KDB's 3 games in the World Cup was a bit of a microcosm of his season at City so far. But even when things were going right at City, his work ethic has been absolutely stupendous at City this season, which you can't say that about his first couple of games with Belgium. As I say, he just strolled around, looked as though he was knackered most of the time to me. Will KDB turn this national disappointment to our benefit? I really think he will. He's got a bit of an extra rest, of course, now. Perhaps they're going, I think they're in Abu Dhabi now. I think I read this morning, so he'll join the guys there for something like a mid-season training break now. And selfishly, I don't care about Belgium. Selfishly, that is what we need as far as City concerned. So for me, after this initial disappointment of the World Cup for KDB, I think it'll be a positive for him and us going forward. Right, let me know what you think, guys, about that one. Right, we're going to look at the next surprise X6. Yes, both these guys I would have said would stay a bit longer in the competition. But, of course, Germany and İlkay Gundogan, of course. Despite a disastrous opening game defeat, they went into that 3rd game with every chance, didn't they? And but the footballing gods decided it was not to be, or perhaps something called VAR. I'm not too sure, one of the 2. But yeah, Gundogan's an interesting one. He was sort of a steadying influence. I remember watching him Germany against England in the Nations Cup a little bit back, and he saw a lot of the stuff Germany were doing was through Gundogan. It wasn't spectacular. It was just sort of like a steadying influence, with simple, unspectacular stuff, and that's how Germany have been playing him. Certainly, how he sort of played in these three appearances. Although he was subbed into where the opponents did score a goal within 2 or 3 minutes of him going off. So is that a coincidence? I'll let you decide on that. And I think the problem with Germany is they did lack a little fizz. They've always, in the past where they've had steady teams, they've always had that little bit of magic, haven't they, thrown in somewhere, whether it's one of the forwards or something like that. But they did lack a little bit of fizz to help Gundogan out on his sort of style of play. And of course, he had a steadier influence, but he had no one around him to help. And Germany, I think, paid the price. And it sort of reflects his start to the City season. He obviously had a Player of the Year recently so far, and I think he was down in 13th spot. Yeah, a bit like his German performances. They've been steady, but I believe this contractual thing, this end of contract, it's not been confirmed whether he's going, whether he's staying. I think this has affected him. I think this has affected him on the pitch for City, and obviously I think it might have affected him for Germany in a way as well. And of course, the contractual decisions are made in a positive way for him, whether he stays or goes. I think he'll be better once the season recommences. Perhaps this time we'll give him a chance to think and ponder what he's going to do if he's not already decided already, or City have decided. At the end of the day, it's up to Pep. He's obviously going to spend time at this training camp with Pep now, and perhaps he'll have a heart to heart or a little chat. Who knows? But it's certainly going to be very, very interesting with Gundogan. He'll have this rest. He'll have to think about his future. And as far as going forward for City, I think honestly, I don't want to make that judgment at the moment. I think the jury's out on what's going to happen with Gundogan over the next few months with City, and if he goes elsewhere. So that will be interesting to see. But at this moment in time, would the World Cup have done him any harm coming back? Not particularly, no. When he gets a little bit of a rest, I think psychologically, yes, he'll be a bit upset about Germany. But as I say, I think it gives him a bit more time to think about where he's coming from and where he's going. So that'll be interesting. And yeah, talking about the outs, of course, Germany are out, Belgium are out, KDB's out, Ilkay Gundogan's out. What about the players who are out but had City links who are also on the plane home? Yeah, let's just start with the big obvious one. I'm just a couple we're going to look at today. And one isn't, his team's not out, but he is. But we'll start with Leroy Sané, of course, going back to Gundogan's Germany. There's a lot of people still on social media asking why we let him go. Well, the simple fact is he wanted to go. We didn't let him go. I mean, people say, well, you could have offered him loads of money. But why? Because, let's be honest about it, his final season at City was poor. And I think that's been a bit kind. I just think he looked as though he could not be arsed. It's as simple as that. But he wanted to go whether we like it or not. And after seeing him play for Germany in this World Cup, admittedly only 3 games, for me, that decision's fine. If he wants to go, he can go, because I don't think we're missing much. Admittedly, on the whole, Germany didn't impress, and as such, people like Gundogan and Sané perhaps didn't impress. But there's nothing about that I saw about Sané that made me just go wow, and there just wasn't. Simple answer. There's just nothing there from Sané in this World Cup. He was okay. He didn't particularly play that badly, but he didn't particularly play anything to impress me either. Okay, let's hope he has a great future, and he's young enough to come back, of course. But I don't think City. I don't think City will rue the day he didn't fall in love with us, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? You either want to stay at City because you sort of get all encompassed with what it means, or you don't. And Sané didn't. It's as simple as that. And finally, before we go for this first episode of this back home, Gabby Jesus, yes, Brazil is still in it. Don't panic. No, they've not gone. It's not a spoiler alert. Depending when you're watching this, well, no, not really. Sadly for Gabby, his World Cup ended before Brazil's, of course, through injury, which apparently may keep him out for 3 or 4 months. I mean, obviously, when you hear that, you probably think, all right, 2 or 3 months or something like that. But in his minutes on the pitch for Brazil, was he fully fit? I wasn't too sure. I didn't see too much of the old energetic Gabby, in fairness. And certainly not the Gabby we remember at his peak for City. I've not watched him for Arsenal, but obviously early days he was doing very, very well, although recent Arsenal performances have brought a few groans and moans from Arsenal fans, but no surprise there, is there? But I certainly didn't see anything in this or Gabby to make me doubt City's decision to let him go. Of course, when you look at as I'm recording this, the rise of Alvarez, and we've got Haaland sat at home. I didn't see anything to worry us and anything to doubt this decision to let him go. And I think with the Brazil 2022 version, I don't see his number 9. He wears the number 9. I think when he started playing for Brazil, he was a breath of fresh air. But at this point in time, long term, I can't see him ever being more than backup. Of course, he's only young, isn't he? He's got will, he's willing, and his work effort is brilliant, of course. But I think he'll struggle now to redo that early success at Brazil, and it all seems a little bit in the past now, as it sort of was with City when he went. We always knew he could do certain things, but he had his limitations. He's still, of course, young enough to learn and improve. But if he can't learn and improve under Pep, it's debatable he's going to do it under anyone else, whether it's a Brazil manager or an Arsenal manager, etc. But he should have a great career either way, because he's a good lad and he works really hard, and that's fair enough. But again, as in the thing with Sane, not to the same extent. I do feel I didn't really want Jesus to go, but when he went, you think, okay, fair enough. He did, it's good for him. It's good for him and good for the club at that stage. But based on what I saw in the brief cameos at the World Cup, I've seen nothing to think that City have made an incorrect decision. All right, there you go, guys. End of this first part. Let me know what your thoughts are. We'll have plenty more to look at over the next couple of weeks. As I say, we don't want all the England lads going out at once. It'll be longer vlogs, won't they? But we'll do it anyway. But thanks for watching. Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Just my little thoughts put down in a vlog, if you like, of the guys, City and non-City, that have had some links with us. So I hope you enjoyed this little edition of Back Home. Thanks for watching. Please, until we meet again, and that's one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Bye for now.